Continuing, coming in at number 8 is Michelle Rodriguez. Now, I like me some Michelle Rodriguez. Now, Michelle Rodriguez has been a part of 4 different franchises. Now, she's been in the Fast and Furious movies. She's been in Machete, and of course Resident Evil. She's been in 2 Resident Evil movies. She's also been in a movie called Avatar. Perhaps you've heard of it. And somebody asked me what you think movie franchise Michelle Rodriguez is good for, and I said I like her better in Machete, but I also like her in Fast and Furious. Now, to me, when she did Fast 6, that was by far the best movie with her character because her character lost her memory, and then it was time for her to fight Gina Gazan, which was good. But Part 7 was better because when she was on screen, she got to fight Ronda Rousey, which was the best part of that movie, and that sexy ass red dress that she was wearing. But Machete 1 and 2 is like a better franchise for her because her character's badass. Like, she's the only actress that can play all these characters and get away with doing it. And don't be surprised if they make a Fast and Furious spinoff of Letty. Think about it. I mean, Michelle Rodriguez is probably watching this video, watching the laptop, talking about, yeah, go on and say it. I'm calling it right now, somewhere in the future. They'll probably make spinoffs. Like, when they're finished with the whole entire trilogy, they'll probably make a Fast and Furious spinoff with Letty's character in it. So don't be surprised. All right, coming in at number 7 is Halle Berry. Yeah, you cannot have a video without Halle Berry in it. You just cannot. Halle Berry went from being a beauty contestant model to an actress, and when she broke into Hollywood, she knew exactly what she wanted to do. She popped up in a movie called The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis. She's done 3 movies with Bruce Willis. Then she gets into a movie called X-Men where she plays Storm, which is a very physical character. And then I know y'all was expecting me to say Monsters Ball. Monsters Ball is what got her the Oscar. But what did the Oscar lead for Halle Berry? A movie called James Bond Die Another Day, where she got to be alongside James Bond. She got into athletic shape for that character. Okay, she got to be in 4 X-Men films. X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, then X-Men Future Days Past. So that's like 4 X-Men films. She got to be in the sequel to The Kingsman, a James Bond movie, and then she even had her own movie, which was Catwoman. I know the movie weren't that good, but she was in it. And then there was a movie called Cloud of Alice. She did a movie with Tom Hanks. That was a science fiction thriller. And then she gets to her late 40s, early 50s, and she does a movie called John Wick 3. Most actresses in their 40s and 50s are doing Lifetime movies. Halle Berry said, fuck that. Put me in John Wick 3. I'm kicking ass. So Halle Berry still has the acting chops. So we got to have a Halle Berry on this list. Coming in at number 6 is Angie Jolie tied with Charlize Theron. Now, Angie Jolie was also a model who became an actress. And she did a movie called Girl Interrupted, but then she also is a legit action star because she did a whole bunch of these movies. Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage, Hell's Kitchen with Mihai Pfeiffer, which was a boxing movie. That's 2 movies. Then she plays a video game character called Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider Cradle of Life. So that's 2... That was like 4 movies: Sky Captain of Tomorrow, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Salt, which Tom Cruise was supposed to be in, and Angie Jolie took that on. So she is a legit action star. She did a movie called Wanted. So she's very good at doing these movies. Been in the game for like 2.5 decades, and now she's producing and directing and writing movies. So Angie Jolie is a legit action star, okay? She's legit. On the other hand, we have Charlize Theron, who also was a model, and then she did some television and acting, and then she did a movie called Reindeer Games, and then she was in a movie called The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, plays off of him very well. And then finally, she does some action-packed movies. You know, she pop up in Snow White and the Huntsman, Snow White and the Huntsman sequel, and then those lead to a movie called the franchise of Fast and Furious. See, most women in their late 30s, mid 40s, they don't usually get to be a part of big franchises, but she does something that most women can't do. And she got to be in Fast 8, she's in Fast 9, and you see, what I like about Charlize Theron is that when she plays these female villain characters, I find her very physically, sexually attractive when she plays these villains. And don't be surprised that they intentionally on purpose take John Cena's character, which is Don Treadle's younger brother, and Skype and make another Fast and Furious spinoff. I'm calling it right here. If you can do Hobbs and Shobbs, you can take Charlize Theron and John Cena and make that into another Fast and Furious spinoff. So Angie Jolie and Charlize Theron are both on the same level as far as acting greatness as action stars. Coming in at number 5 is a legend, Pam Grier. Now, every black woman, when they were a little girl in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, even the 1990s, and even today in 2000s, every black woman inspired to be Foxy Brown. She did those exportation movies. I mean, if you're a black woman that's in her 40s, her 50s, your 60s or 70s, you know what the hell I'm talking about. She did a movie called Foxy Brown. And at that time, she played a character that was an undercover police officer that was doing the drug bust. Spoiler alert if you ain't never seen those movies. And every black woman always watched the movie because she's the main character. She got the gun, she hot, she sexy, she kicking ass. And her own boyfriend sold her out. That was the plot of the movie. And she didn't just do one movie, she did like 3 movies of Foxy Brown, and they're supposed to be remaking it. They made the movies, they made the television show, and if it weren't for Pam Grier, if it was not for her, you probably would have not had women like Halle Berry and all these other women come into the game and basically say it's okay to be a black woman and it's okay to get your hands dirty and whoop ass. Like a lot of people said that what's her name, J.P. Henson should be the one to play Foxy Brown, which she could do it because they did a movie like 2 years ago where she played an assassin. Then the story was supposed to be very relative to Foxy Brown, but I still think you need to make a Foxy Brown remake, a movie and a television, and jump that into a franchise. If it weren't for Pam Grier, no black woman in Hollywood would be able to do the types of movies that are done today in filmmaking history. She became, like, if not the first African American woman, either the second or the third one to come in and say, no more of me playing these supporting roles. I'm playing a dominant character, and if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. How do I know all this shit? Because my mom watched all her movies. I mean, she's been in Hollywood for 4 decades. Come on now. Most people's career is over in 1, 2. She's been around for 4 decades. I mean, you got to show this woman some respect. I mean, without her, you would have not gotten no Halle Berry. You would have not gotten all the women that came after her. She opened the door for African American women. She is a legend. She's an icon. Show some proper respect, people. All right, coming in at number 4 is Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. She becomes the first actress to play Wonder Woman. And you see, her career has come out nicely. She went from being eye candy to popping up in all these movies. You know, Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League. And when she does these movies, she's being solidified because she's now earned her place in Hollywood as Wonder Woman. Yeah, she's not tall, but what qualified her is that she was in the military, the Israeli military, and she already was in shape, so she's built for the character, and that's all you need to know. Coming in at number 3 is once again my all-time crush, and that is Scarlett Johansson. I just love me some Scarlett Johansson, okay? Every man has a Hollywood crush. This is one of my biggest Hollywood crushes. Now, you see, what you have to understand is that she did a movie called The Island. before the Marvel movies, before Lucy, before Black Widow, before she did any of those movies, she was tall and she had put on some weight for that movie called The Island. And producers thought if she could do a movie called The Island, let's see what else she can do. So they would put her in 4 or 5 of these movies. They put her in The Black Dahlia, and again, she put on some weight. And those are two movies that are not superhero films. The Island it's like a fantasy. It's like science fiction. And Black Dahlia was based on a true story. And in both movies, she had to put on some weight. Dead because she's naturally a tall woman. She don't look like she's tall, but she's like 5'8", 5'9". She's tall in a way. And then finally, you see her pop up in a movie called Iron Man 2, where she's the Black Widow. People complained she was too small, so when we saw her again in the Avengers, she kind of got a little ripped, and then she really looked like Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, and Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. She really looked like the character. Since everyone was complaining, oh, she got to get a little bit more bigger, she got to get in some shape, and she did it. And then of course there's the Avengers, and now she's getting a movie called The Black Widow. And the twist is that she's alive, and her sister's supposed to be the one who faked her, which they're gonna make that big twist in the movie. So she's been in Hollywood for 2 decades, and I still think that she still has a lot in the tank. The reason why she's at number 3 is because she's a legit action star. She was kind of already doing these types of movies way before Ghost in the Shell, way before Lucy, way before the Avengers movies, before Captain America and Iron Man became a franchise. She was already doing these types of movies. So people just know these movies. That's why I said The Island. That's why I said The Black Dahlia. Those movies came way before they even thought about doing the Avengers. That's why I say that. And why is it kept closed? When they were doing those Batman films, she could have auditioned to play Catwoman. So, yeah, now when you see her as the Black Widow, you can imagine what would happen if she could have played Catwoman. You now see it. Now coming in at number 2 in a tie is Margie Robbie and Zoe Kravitz. Why, you ask? Why they're tied at number 2, you ask? I'll tell you why. She played Harley Quinn. I mean, for years and years, they had actresses play Harley Quinn, but none of them had the spark. None of them had the tenacity to pull it off. And here comes this sexy, fine-ass Australian woman who does a movie with Will Smith called Focus. I know you've seen it. Turns around, does another movie, and then does Suicide Squad. And that just pushed her career so far up. Everyone started buying action figures and comic books, merchandise of Harley Quinn, just because of her portrayal. Most actresses who played characters like that before never got that attention. She gets it with no problem. Then pops up in the sequel, which was her movie, and she's gonna pop up in 2 more films, if you can believe that. And she has her own production company. Not too many actresses can do that. So somewhere in her future, I think she might end up producing, directing, and writing. Don't be surprised if one day you see a superhero movie and you expect the director to come out, and instead of the director coming out, Harley Quinn comes out with a microphone and say, all right, let's act, lights, camera, action. And you look at Harley Quinn like, what the hell? And she look at you, what you waiting for? Act, damn it. Don't be surprised if that actually happens. On the other hand, we have Zoe Kravitz, who is the daughter, famous R&B singer, Lenny Kravitz. If you know all his songs, that's his daughter. And she's been doing a whole bunch of movies and television shows, and her sexy fine ass popped up in X-Men First Class. And then she popped up again in the Divergent movies. So she was kind of already doing those action-packed movies before they even saw her as an actress. And then she gets the opportunity to show that she always was doing this by playing Selena Kyle Catwoman. Now, you seen little snippets of it. She looked fine as hell in that damn suit. Like, damn, Catwoman looked that fine? God damn. shit, she look, and not to try to make it seem like it's not obvious, but she's like a younger version of Halle Berry. Like, what if Halle Berry played the character, but much more younger and more fucking hotter? It's like, oh shit. It's like if I had to make a video called "The Best Looking Women to Play Catwoman," that's where you would probably draw your comparisons. Now, this version, we don't know what she's gonna do, but I can't wait to see the movie. Coming in at number one is gonna be Chloe Montz. I can't even pronounce her last name. Mozzarella. Yeah, sorry if I fucked up the last name. You've seen her movies. Kick Ass. That's all I gotta say is Kick Ass. Kick Ass. Kick Ass 2. She was supposed to get her own movie called Hit Girl, and they decided to not go in that direction, which fucking sucked. She was in a movie called Carrie. She was in there. She was in the sequel to The Boys. If you remember, not The Boys, but with Seth Rogen and Seth Efron. Yeah, if you remember, yeah, The Neighbors 2. There we go. Fuck it, The Neighbors Part 2. She was in that, and she was in a movie called The Fifth Wave, which did get a sequel. So she can play multiple franchises. She can do comedy, she can do action comedy, she can do straight action, horror, science fiction. She's like a young version of Sigourney Weaver doing these kinds of movies. And there's now talks that she might do a movie called Ballerina, which is probably going to be a spinoff of John Wick, which I'd be happy to see. And she also played off of Denzel Washington in a movie called The Equalizer. So she can play virtually any character that they need her to. At one point, people thought she was going to play Supergirl when they had done Man of Steel. She probably still could pull it off. She's 23 going on 24. She's probably the youngest out of this whole group, and why she's at number one is because she got the most potential to get better. And just imagine if they wanted to do Supergirl, you could pick her to play Supergirl. If you wanted her to play the Black Canary in a movie, she could pull it off. So she can do multiple franchises. You know, she's capable of pulling off different characters. So that's why she's number one. Plus, I have a crush on her. A friend of mine have a bigger crush than me, but the point is, these are the names that are on this list. Some of you will agree, some of you will disagree, some of you will have a problem with the names on this list. Some of you will feel like some should have been mentioned. Until then, peace.